Good day, good morning, and good evening, Commanders. Today we'll be doing a map analysis of Airport while playing a game on it in the background. So, how do you want to win on Airport? Well, on Airport, there's these two zones, Fedor and Elena, which are the middle zones, and now Elena is Blue's zone and Fedor is Red zone. Theoretically, right? Um, but in practice, in orthodox play, uh, usually both of these zones are contested, and that's the ideal situation for both players. So, for example, as you can see here, blue has this position here, and blue gets to about this position here in red's zone, and red gets to about this position here, and red gets this, and red gets this, right? So like this. And so this is kind of the split that goes around the map. And essentially, this is the way that you fight on this map. And then, blue has a CV here, blue has a CV here, red has a CV here, and red has a CV here. And then who kicks, who the game is decided by who kicks who out of their zones first. Uh, the way that, in my opinion, red side is better. And the reason being is that red just so comfortably gets this position, can put a CV here very comfortably, gets this, gets all of this, and then can just kind of sit here for the entire game and gets all of this as well to overlook everything and can just kind of sit here with the CV forever and ever. And realistically, it's kind of easy to kick blue out of this zone. Like, blue really has very small amounts of play here with kind of this and whatever they can, whatever they manage to do over here on the right side of the map. So yeah, red side definitely, in my opinion, better. But the only way that it is better is if you actually use the map to your advantage. And as you can see here from Mdusi's deployment, he's playing 25th, and he's not attacking realistically what he should be attacking. So Ducey here is going for an attack like this towards this town, and the reason I say do not go for it is because if it goes wrong, and it will, as you will see here in this replay, if it goes wrong, it's gonna be a stalemate, and you're not gonna get anything from it, and then you're gonna be bashing yourself into just a wall, and you're not gonna get anywhere, and your opponent is going to exploit the flanks while you do it. Or another reason, my mistake, another reason why I suggest not going for this city as red here is by the time that you take this city as red and actually are able to punish the enemy for it, blue's already kicked you out of here, blue's already going up here, blue's already up here, and blue is just gonna go and get to your side, and then you're gonna have a problem. Like, yay, you got this, but oh no, red, like blue took the entire front. So this is why I do not recommend going for this town. I do, however, as red, recommend going for this building up here and trying to get up here, because you can put a CV right there and then start ticking your opponent. And you're also going to force blue to send resources to kind of react to this problem that blue has. Generally, I let blue have this because, have it. There's not really much to say about it. Sometimes I do end up going for this, but this is only when I'm like fully confident. Like, I know that I can take it 100% of the time, but that's only like a matchup. Like, for example, if I'm playing like, I don't know, if I'm playing like that's only a matchup for like VDV versus 25th guards. Like, there's no way that as red you're getting to this town and you're taking this effectively enough and fast enough to actually be able to make play out of it most of the time. So as you can see here, as blue, I got to this position, and I was also trying to seize this, and well, there was nothing here, so I do end up getting these positions, and I'm gonna make it worth my while here, basically. Now, blue does get up here. Generally, blue does not get up here. Generally, so this is not good, but as you can see here, I'm just mega aggressive. I'm just mega aggressive because I see nothing has stopped me and I cannot see anything. So I'm just mega aggressive and just hoping that it works. And as you can see here, my opponent allowed me to get all of this, so I'm seizing this as well. And I have a Motorozvetka over here that's seizing space as well. And as you can see, my opponent playing 25th here has kind of just allowed me to get every position that he should have absolutely been playing for. He needed to play for this, and he needed to play for this. Granted, he doesn't get forward deploy, so he kind of he kind of, fell back from these positions, and he decided, well, I'm going to amass troops here, and then I'm going to push this. But that's not a good idea, because you're going to get stalemated in this town, and you're going to see that very, very soon. My BMP on the left goes down here, which was trying to be used to seize space. And as you can see, the Spetsnaz Guru that's over here on the left side is making problems. And now you can see kind of here why stacking this city here as red is bad. Because, well, he stacked it, and look, he outnumbers me like God knows how much to one. Like, I only have 1, 2 combat-ready units. Everything else is just a spot. I only have 1 tank and a BMP here to hold this, and I'm gonna be able to hold it off simply because this tank is so good, and it can play on these good ranges, and as you can see here, I'm rotating to play on range. I'm rotating to here to start picking off these BMPs. Here I'm marking for myself because someone was watching me play, so I was kind of just explaining as I was playing. I'm running away from this Motorozvetka. And as you can see here, I'm letting my opponent take this space, but it doesn't matter because I have this, and I'll have this. And then when this opponent comes in and takes this, he's just dead. There's really nothing much to it. And plus, he cannot engage me frontally. Like, he simply cannot engage me frontally with his T-64s. So as you can see here, there's another T-80U up here, and yeah, he hasn't really accomplished much. Like, it's just a stalemate. He's just been stalemated. He's been stopped. His attack has been stopped. And as you can see here, I have this, I have this, and I have this. So as soon as I deal with this, I'm in a completely winning position. And you can go as far as to say that this is already won for me, because I'm 119 and he's 25th. I have the better late game division, and his opener has been wiped out. He's lost both of his tanks, he's lost both BMPs, and this is just useless because it's going to a place which he absolutely should not have played for. So, like I said before, as red, you definitely want to go for this. Definitely want to go for this because you get there with forward deploy, and you get here and here with forward deploy. But if you do not have forward deploy, then put recon here and stack your units here. Like, it would have been better for him because, as you can see here, these buildings here, they block line of sight. So he could play with his T-64s here and not get absolutely hammered by my T-80s. Whereas if he's playing over here in this city block, I mean, snipe, 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 snipe. Like, there's absolutely nothing you can do. So my opponent ends up just making these very bad trades early on, and ends up having just a very bad early game here, simply because he's just attacking the wrong thing. And as you can see here, I have barely any infantry. Like, I have 0 infantry, but I'm still holding him because I have recon and tanks that are just playing range. Granted, he should probably be just slightly more aggressive with these Motostrelki, but that's, his honest mistake. But for example, if this Motostrelki pushes up, he's gonna die to me here. So, again, stacking this town is a very bad thing. Red wants to go for this and try to kick blue out of this as soon as possible. Whilst red is doing this, red also wants to get to here and get to here and hold this. They want to hold it. So they want to hold it with all of this. They want to hold this whilst they're kicking blue out of here. And then red is in a completely winning position. And blue wants to kind of get this if blue can get this, for example, because that's what I did. Like, I got this and I profited from it. But if blue cannot get that, then just simply get this, get all of this, as they do, and stack this. Blue wants to have about like 10% going here, 20% going to here, and then 70% going to this town. And the goal is to kick red out of this position. You need to kick red out of here, otherwise you're going to be in a very, very, very big problem. Because red is just like red has the better side of the map. That's a fact, and you cannot change it. So as blue, you need to make your play here. And as you can see, that's kind of exactly what I did. I mean, I sent Spetsnazes to seize these positions early on, and I sent most of my forces, as you can see here, all these tanks, they're here, right? So I've been doing exactly that, and my opponent cannot really do anything. Now, granted, I do have the better division. Like, the matchup is in my favor, so I'm not saying this is all, just my opponent is not using the map correctly, but it's a big factor. Like, if my opponent played here with his T-64s, I can almost guarantee that he'd have better luck than, fighting me in the most open terrain possible. Like, what's he going to do here? Like, he cannot engage me frontally, so he might as well just use these buildings to his advantage. Like, place a T-64 here and then profit off of it. My opponent still hasn't made the effort to kick me out of this. So, I still have this, and I'm still holding my opponent here. So, like I said, realistically, I'm in a winning position. Because I have a 40-minute div. I have a better 40-minute div than him, and I'm playing what I should be playing. And I've also got this now. This is very, very good for me. Because I have this, I've basically shut down my opponent's dreams of ever doing this, or I can shut down this as well if I wanted to. Like, put a T-80 right there, and what's he gonna do? Absolutely nothing. So, by getting these early positions, you're kind of shutting down exactly what your enemy wants to be doing. And my opponent is now just confined to this northern space here, and he's gonna end up just losing because my tanks are better. So, in my opinion, what red needs to do against blue's 119 here is probably put like a Razvetka BMP2 here, a Razvetka BMP2 here, put a Razvetka and a Razvetka, and then kick out blue as early as possible out of this position. Once you've done that as red, once you've done that, you can move on to the next step, and that's getting into Elena. So early on, I'd probably have like a Razvetka, BMP Razvetka as well, and to just kick out this early Spetsnaz that blue is going to be sending to this position. Then you're going to have this position, then it's just about getting into these ones. So you want to kind of, have conqueresses here, put some tanks here, BMPs, and push them in. And this is yours. And now red has all of this. And they've taken this. And this is still not winning for red, simply because I have the better matchup. But it's much better than fighting red on the terrain that you do not want to be fighting blue on the terrain that you do not want to be fighting blue in terms of this divisional matchup. But even now, what I would suggest red to do is forget about the left side, pick up all of your units and send them to the right side of the map. Like, leave the Motostrelki in here, put a CV and start ticking, and then just move everything to the right side. So, like I said again, put Motostrelki here, put a CV to start ticking, grab all of these units, reverse away, and then rotate to here. Because you need this as red. This is your lifeline. It's your victory condition. Essentially, for red, this is your victory condition. For blue, this is your victory condition. And although, if I have to be completely honest with myself, most of the time, as blue, I find myself actually going for Paul here, or in the back. And this is probably just because most of the time I find my enemies stacking this. And so when I completely kill my enemy's push, I have an open counterattack. So I just counterattack and I take the entire map. Well, I take their back zone and then I just take the entire map. So, so yeah, most of the time as blue, I find myself getting Paul. But in my opinion, if I had the option not to go for Paul, I wouldn't, because well, because going for Fedor is just much easier. Like, Fedor was made for you to get points, essentially. Like, Fedor was made, you get to here, put a CV in there, and start taking points. And if you're ever concerned about this, that's why you need to go for this early on. You remember what I said? Why I sent a Spetsnaz there in the first place? Now, granted, my Spetsnaz did do a little bit of a tactical rotation here. But even so, you get this early on. You get this early on. Like, you want to take it early on, and then you're living the life as blue. Then you can just, CV right there, and boom, you can start taking points. And if you've kicked out your enemy from your town, you're gonna be in a very, very good spot. It's like this, essentially. So as blue, where do I love to put my forward deploy? Probably in the big tower thingy. And I like to kind of go with my forward deploy like this. I kind of like to go for that, and then I can, like, have a firefight with the, opposing building. So yeah, that's usually what I like to do. I like to put like a Spetsnaz here, Spetsnaz here, Spetsnaz here, and then this guy is the rear guard, or like the flank guard, and then these guys are actively pushing the enemy out, and then I also have, I have the rest of my forces supporting this attack. So that's kind of the idea, the way that, in my opinion, the way the blue wants to kick out red from blue's zone. And as you can see here, exactly what I said would happen. My opponent's still very, very tunnel visioned on the left side of the map, and he's still buying more units, buying more units, buying more units, buying more units, and he's sending them kind of to their deaths, because look, he's dealt one tick of damage by hitting my TAT straight into the face. And now he's gonna start losing because I have more tanks than him. My tanks are better. Granted, these guys are worse, but as you can see here, like, look at the damage I do to this one T-64. I've brought out my Gvozdikas now. They're double vetted for the speed of firing, because look, they fire double vetted Gvozdikas. They fire in 15 seconds, so they are very, very good. Moving on to the actually important things, and like we said about, like what we said about red with their forward deploy, generally you want to go here as red with your forward deploy, and you want to hope you can make it to here. Obviously back that up with a recon helicopter, obviously, like all the time. For aggression, the best thing for aggression in Warno is to start with a recon helicopter for every lane. So for aggression in Warno, recon helicopters are the best thing possible. As you can see here, there's 3 lanes, so we're gonna be sending 3 recon helicopters down every lane. And down every lane, a recon helicopter will tell you exactly how much you can aggress your opponent. So, for example, this recon helicopter on the left, the recon helicopter on the left will tell you, can you make it up to here? If not, then you're gonna get to here. It will also tell you if your opponent's going to this, if you're trying to kind of aggress for this town, yes, if you'll get to here, here, or here. And then, you won't get to here maybe, but maybe you'll get to here. Or maybe you won't get to here. Maybe you won't get to here either, then you go to here. So that's why a recon helicopter is good. And then, for example, for this side, with red, a recon helicopter will tell you, can you make it up to here? If so, cool. If you're not, then you can get up to here. Can you get up to here? If so, cool. If not, then you can get to here. Recon helicopter on the right will tell you, can you get to here? If not, can you get to here? If not, then you go to here. Recon on will tell you, can you make it to here? If not, can you make it to here? If yes, cool, right? So this is the kind of like the way that I play this game. I start with a recon helicopter for every lane, and then react upon the information that I get from my recon helicopters, and do not care about them staying alive. I end up sacrificing every single one of them anyway. I just sacrifice them for the most intel possible, because on top of the fact that recon helicopters will tell you what you cannot and can aggress, they'll also tell you what your enemy has in the back line in terms of, what normal units did they start with, because, in the deployment you have forward deploy, recon, and then you also have normal units. So those recon helicopters, when they make it to the enemy spawn, they'll also tell you what what normal units the enemy started with, and then you can spend your first minute's income reacting to that information. And that information is, trust me on this, that information is very, very crucial. Like, you're gonna find yourself winning a lot more games when your first minute's income is spent reacting to the enemy, and your deployment is spent attacking, right? Because most of the time, what happens in Warno is, blue side. This is just, as an example. Blue attacks the left, red attacks the right side. Blue spends his first minute going to more on the left. Red spends his first minute going more on the right, and then, wow, Red's taken all of this, Blue's taken all of this, and no one stopped anyone. Everyone's attacked their own thing, everyone's won their own thing, and now it's a stalemate down, like, the middle. What you should be doing to win more is you're stacking this, right? Red is attacking this. Red spends his first minute's income going to here. You spend your first minute's income defending this, and then you're delaying Red's push for the second minute income to come in as well, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then you can actually hold this, right? And also, don't forget, you can always rotate units from the other sides of the map, right? Like, that's kind of the idea. For example, so Red is spending, let's say Red is spending absolutely all of their income. First minute, second minute, third minute, fourth, and the entire deployment attacking the right side of the map. You've spent 10% defending this, and you spent 90%, again, example, I do not recommend doing that, but example, you've spent 90% going up here, right? So you're gonna get this. This 10% is gonna hold Red long enough for your first minute to arrive. Then your second minute is also spent arriving. And during the second minute of the game, your left side of the force, you're going to split it into two. You're going to split it into, 50% of 90%. So 50% here, right? And then 50% moving to the right side of the map, helping the defending units, helping the first minute's income, second minute's income, and the 10% that from the original deployment. And then this is kind of how you manage to win games, because wow, now Blue has taken this and this and this, and Blue is still defending this. So this is kind of the way that you want to do it, and that's why recon helicopters are very, very important. They are to be sacrificed because the information that you get from them is very, very crucial. It's extremely important, and it's gonna start, like, you're gonna see yourself winning a lot more games once you realize this. It's very, very powerful, and there's a reason I do it absolutely every game, because it's so powerful to know what your opponent is doing from the get-go, and also know what you cannot and can aggress and see space. So that's very, very important. So we've basically gone over everything that Red and kind of Blue that wants to aggress. Now there's just, the remaining part of the map is up to you. And, kind of to snowball from the early game, from the aggression phase, the seizing space part. Now you need to go to the middle game and late game. Keep in mind what I just told you about rotating units and spending your first minute, second minute's income reacting to your opponent. It's going to help you a lot more in the middle game, and you're going to see yourself winning, and you're going to see yourself succeeding in a lot more early and middle games, especially from the aggression in the early game, and in the middle game from the second minute's, third minute's income spent reacting. That's basically it for Airport. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like down below and consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. See you in the next video, Commanders.